This is an update, the fourth update on the jet engine project. Pleased to say it's going very well. I've got pretty much all the parts I'll need from now on, except for the afterburner setup. Need a bit more for that, but that's not too much. From left to right, this is the control panel. So I've got fuel shut off, afterburner. Actually, no, one thing I want to ask on the afterburner, what's the best thing to run them off? I can either run it off gas, which is what I'd prefer to do, or I could run them off, or I could run it off kerosene. I've heard gas is easier to ignite, but kerosene gives you a bit more power. That's what I've heard anyway. So, any suggestions on that would be great. Yeah. So anyway, I've got this electronic thermocouple, which will go in here into the afterburner. I've got combustion chamber pressure, which will mount something like that. I'm not sure yet. I got which one's this? This one's fuel pressure. This one is oil pressure. I've got 2 needle valves. That one will be the oil, so that'll be the. I was saying earlier how I'll have a system where a needle valve adjusts the amount of fuel going back into the reservoir. So this will be from the pumps to the turbo back to reservoir. And this is my oil one, so that'll be the return line there. It'll be that'll be returned from the T valve, and those two will be returned. There's one around the back, you can't see it. Be returned from the turbocharger. That'll go via the oil cooler, which I'll show you in a minute. From there, because it's a submerged pump, I'll have to. Yep, that thing there is the oil outlet. That'll go to a little bowl here, which will have the oil pump submerged in it. What else? Oh yeah. So for the afterburner, I've got this nice little. This is the injectors I'm using all around. I've got 2 in there. One for gas and one for anything. I'll probably end up doing kerosene injection. So these are good for kero. They're made for it. They're furnace injectors made for high temperature, stainless steel, and kero injection, or oil injection. Yeah, it's got a pretty fine, you won't see it, but it's got a fairly fine mist hole, but that can be opened up with a needle or a little tiny file or anything. Yeah, I'll just show you the mountings on the turbo. I put spacing bolts in there. Just try and stop a bit of heat transfer, I guess. Won't really make a difference. What else? Oh yeah, I've put this mounting on the combustion chamber, which goes onto this 3rd bolt here. Yeah, I've tested the combustion chamber. Works very well actually. It's gets a nice spiraling going inside the flame tube. Gets complete combustion, so there'll be no flame passing about this point here. Even at full throttle, the flame comes up to about here and then stops because the tertiary holes dilute. I've made it so what happens is you get the perfect air-fuel mixture in here, then air comes up and it dilutes the air-fuel mixture here, so you won't get any burning after this point, which is a safety, because you see when you get turbo, generally because the turbo is broken, is because the gases are too hot, because the flame is actually coming out and therefore there is no cool air passing the flame. That's really important, you have that cool air. Yeah, so I've set the throttle so I know 7 psi, I know where the minimum and maximum on the needle valve. Look, I'm going to take everything off again once I've got it all mounted up, so I can paint the frame and start neatening it right up, because it's a bit rough at the moment. So when I do all that, I'll make a little thing on like how the combustion chamber works and how to set that. Yeah, so for the afterburner, I'll have 50mm wide stainless pipe, 500 long, and I'll have this little oil injector positioned like this, and with a spark plug I'll also have a secondary spark plug because the flame isn't coming out the end, as I said. It won't ignite the fuel, it'll just smoke up, and that's what you see when you see the jet shooting out smokes, because it's not ignited, it's just evaporating. So I'll have a spark plug to light it up. What else? Oh yeah, I've got, so yeah, you can see the oil radiator there. For the water cooling, I originally had this big reservoir with pumps mounted in there on the other side as well. I've ditched that and I've gone for this smaller option, mainly because it's got this nice mounting point, and that one had absolutely nowhere to mount because look at the shape of it. And I've taken the fuel pumps out of that and connected them in series to this main one. These are actually quite high flow and high pressure as well, so it should easily do the cooling, and that'll pump through. This will be like the reservoir. It holds quite a large volume, so this will actually be the reservoir as such for the cooling. What else? Yep, so you've already seen the fuel pumps I'm using. I'll only be using one to start with. That'll be for the oil, and eventually I've left a lot of room there for a diesel or kerosene injection system. I'm not sure, diesel or in kerosene, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so that's how it's going so far. One last thing, I got this pipe was off the exhaust on the dune buggy, another spare part from that, and it just happened to be like a perfect shape for it. So what will happen, this bit of pipe here mounts like that, and then I just need a little bit of rubber hose in between, which is really good, and that stays nice and cool as well, which means it's not going to upset any of these instruments. So yeah, pretty much ready to go this weekend. I reckon I'll at least give it, if not, I probably won't get time to paint the frame, but if I get it all together, I'll most likely give it its first start. Not sure though, like might not, depends how much time I get to work on it. So yeah, more updates this weekend. See ya.